Welcome back to another episode of
Hey man, I'm sorry to
Intelligence
interrupt you.
Forward.
Sir, but I just wanted to thank you for having us on here. I've never heard a Trump supporter actually get it right as to why I don't like Donald Trump. So this gives us the format to be able to talk about it, and I wanted to thank you for that. Okay?
All right, slow down your playback button there, liberal man. But he does bring up a good point, man. Why you got us on this show in the first place, man? What got you into politics, media, Donald Trump, all of that? Why are we here? I want to know. That's a fair question.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I've recently had an interview, a TV news interview on a political show, where I found it challenging to be able to discuss everything I know, everything I wrote about, as far as narcissism in politics and media, and be able to squeeze that down into 20-second sound bites for the purpose of the show. But I think you guys will find it interesting, and we'll discuss it right after you three check it out. Here it is.
Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. The inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump is Monday, and some Americans are looking forward to his presidency while others are not. It's a tough topic of conversation to have in the workplace, social settings, and even at times at home. And joining us now is Dr. Jay Houston. He is the author of Emotional Intelligence for Politics and Media. And the focus of his book is how to discuss Donald Trump without conflict. And Dr. Houston, welcome to Capitol Review.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Awesome to be here on your show.
We're glad to have you. Talk about why you decided to write this book.
You know, Mark, it was a long journey towards realizing exactly how Donald Trump, at the time when he was first coming into politics about 8 to 10 years ago, was reminding me of a long-term former friend of mine. Not just him, but the reactions of everybody around him. As you know, Mark, people either love Donald Trump and think he's a hero, a patriot, or they think he is maybe the worst political candidate to run for the highest political office in the land. And so seeing how the reaction of everybody else was around him made me do a little bit of investigation into the emotional intelligence and the emotional manipulations of narcissists, which turned up, evidently, how Donald Trump is manipulating all of us, and I mean liberals and MAGA as well.
Well, you know, you also talk about in section 2 of your book, focusing on exploring the challenges, and you talk about the news media and self-awareness.
Yes, Mark. So, as you know, we're in the entertainment business here, and blurring the line between entertainment and information is sometimes where news media, I just want people to be self-aware of where they're seeing the difference between entertainment and information, and being able to realize where that is in the news media is a part of the book.
How has the book been received so far?
So far, it's been great. But I still want to be able to get it out a little bit more to be able to understand exactly where. Here's a key point. A lot of liberals are thinking, well, Donald Trump is telling exactly MAGA what they want to be able to hear. Donald Trump gets a lot of funding from corporate entities within the Republican contingencies. But I think Donald Trump manipulates liberals just as well, and that's a key point. A lot of liberals sort of lose their mind when he says things in speeches and writes things on social media, and I want them to be aware that narcissists manipulate their targets to be seen as people who are emotionally unstable to their constituencies. So every time liberals go off, every time liberals are having some sort of meltdown, if you will, because of something Donald Trump says, that is seen by his constituents as them being the problem.
You wrote open letters to liberals, MAGA, and what you also look at as mainstream Republicans. Talk about that.
Mainstream Republicans, I want them to be able to set guidelines around Donald Trump for his next, for his upcoming presidency. I want them to be able to see exactly where he's going to maybe go over the lines, including maybe blurring out some of the media that calls him out on some of the things that he does and then talks about. I want liberals to be able to recognize exactly what we talked about before in terms of them being emotionally manipulated as well by some of his outbursts. And then I want to make America great again to do their homework. I want them to be able to see exactly where Donald Trump in some ways reminds a lot of people, and we talk about this briefly in the book, of the second coming of Adolf Hitler. And that sounds crazy. It sounds irresponsible to be able to say that. So some of the things we outline in the book is to say, here is a guideline, MAGA, if you believe it is absolute bunk to be able to compare this man to Adolf Hitler, here's exactly where you can go down and say, bit by bit, doing your homework, saying it's either great or it's not.
So how do we move forward collectively with the new administration? And is it also up to the president-elect to do his part?
It is up to Donald Trump to be able to do his part, but I just would like for us to be able to use one of the emotional intelligence tenets of 6 versus 9. Mark, if I take this paper and put a 6 on the back of it, and show it to you. Is it a 6 or is it a 9? And from your perspective, it could be one or the other.
Right.
And we would argue each other down as to which one is correct. Just want people to be able to understand there's always a different perspective when it comes to emotional intelligence, including with Donald Trump.
Dr. Jay Houston, thank you very much for joining
You're
us
welcome.
on
Thank you so
Capitol
much.
Review. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's go over it one more time. Question 1, why write this book? I could not figure out for a long time why a former friend of mine reminded me of the actions and behavior of Donald Trump and vice versa. It turns out it's not just about the actions and behavior of narcissists, but about the polarized reactions of those around them. I have personally been a target and an enabler for a narcissist, which are words you can be able to look up. And trust me, if you haven't researched or experienced narcissism, you would get fooled by it as well, which is why I have complete sympathy for liberals and Make America Great Again. Question 2. Squeezing an entire section of a book like question 2 was all about is very difficult in 20 seconds. But trust me, when we'll get into Joseph Pulitzer in the late 1800s, finding out that human beings are far more interested in being entertained than informed. Even in the context of these episodes and this particular YouTube channel, people are more entertained by the accents and antics of Make America Great Again than me slipping in information about emotional intelligence. Question 3, open letters to all 3 of you here. Make America Great Again, liberals and mainstream Republicans. Yes, MAGA, you're going to have to do your homework on Donald Trump prior to him getting into politics. Question 4, 6 versus 9, 738-55, other things that we've gone over here before. Those are applicable for more than just Donald Trump. And those are applicable for more than just studies on the media. So guys, next time, narcissism, we're not pulling any punches. We're not holding back one bit. Fasten your seatbelts. We'll see you next episode.